Okay, this morning session will be accompanied by the sweet sounds of Stella's snoring. And we got the binaural 432 beats on there. I haven't even had my first cup of tea. This is my first one. Um, so I'm gonna be more out of it, obviously. But it's so weird to drink such dark tea now, because I was so into the cream tea. Now it is so dark. But anyway, so I feel like now I'm one of those, I'll take a black, like this black coffee in the morning kind of person or something. It's so funny. I don't know. It's just the kind of stuff we get in our heads. One of the things, though, that I wanted to say, there's a bunch of things I wanted to say. That's why I had to hurry up and start before I even finished. Oh, well, I had a sip before I got going on my tea. So hold on, though, because I gotta keep drinking it because it just cooled off. Because when I get up, I have to make it, but it's got steep. So it's got to get cooled off. Anyways, I just got it to the right temp. So hold on. One of the things, I swear, each day is like, man, should I try and wash it or something? Should I do something? I try and think of it like a horse's tail. Like, wouldn't we be weirdos if we were out there trying to wash the tails of horses? Like, I think it would be kind of strange. They brush the horses to keep them clean, and then maybe spray them with something or whatever. But like the essential oils and stuff, the tea tree, and I'm sure the cloves and the cinnamon and all that. I need to make another batch, which I'm going to boil the cloves, the cinnamon. I've got to get some fresh rosemary, so I got to get some more rosemary before I make another batch. But I'm gonna go. I'm like, fuck it. I'm leaving again. I'm gonna go see the grandkids. It's not that far, so it's like, what the hell am I just sitting here being bored as fuck and looking for stupid shows to watch? Because my yard, it is weird. I keep trying to put in timelines. Okay, I'm already skipping around, so I gotta try and remember all this stuff. So I already, when I was outside, I was like, this does not seem like this is the middle of July. This is weird. Like, there definitely becomes a period of time where my patio becomes taken over by spider webs, and everywhere you walk, they're everywhere. And but I swear to God, it's not right now. And the motherfuckers are not catching the goddamn pest bugs. It's like, I was watching yesterday, and this bee, which I didn't want the bee to go in, so it was really stressing me out. And it was like, fuck, dude, everywhere you go, you're in danger zone. Get off the patio. It's like, fuck, they're everywhere. And I was like, I think it's the vibration that keeps them from getting in it. I think it's probably the same with the flies. Probably the gnats are the ones that maybe they don't catch the vibration fast enough because they move so fast. But I think it's their wings vibrate. There's a vibration, I think, and they feel like a tension or something when they get near a web. And so that's what pushes them the other direction. But book, it was intense watching. And these spiders that are out there, I've talked about these ones before, because when they first came out, which I swear to God, it was, this is where I kept trying to think yesterday when I was painting my house in 2020. So I kept trying to think about, okay, so when they closed it down, when was I able to get paint? When did I start to decide I'm going to just start doing stuff around here? I'm going to just sit here. And because it was all that year, it was like we weren't allowed to go places. In Washington State, it's always been really intense. So, and the people all abide, as I'm telling you. They are all, it's a certain group of people, progressive, and, they're kind people. They're very kind, loving, gentle people. They're not assholes until they feel threatened with their health. Then they get dirty. They get nasty. It's like, and that just shows me that they have no spiritual connection. That's what's got broken in the progressive. They've cut them off from their soul. It gets me like my nose is doing that thing. It's like, it gets me so sad because those people are, I don't even know why I'm getting all emotional. Those people are all like really kind and sweet people. They're, like even on the other side in this upside down world, where we have the people who are just, I mean, they're a lot of weirdos, a lot of weirdos. And they all just want to be accepted, just want to be like, hey, I just want to be accepted for who I am. And, but they are so misled, they're being controlled. And that's what's going to hurt them so bad when they wake up. But the other side of the balance is, we have the conservatives that are super religious and super about control, but they think it's all the Bible tells you got to do what the Bible says, you got to do what God said, you got to do what my preacher said. Well, my preacher said this. Well, this preacher said that. Well, you better do what he said. It's like, do y'all's heads not spin around? Like, can you not see, like, this is not the way to go? So you have them who want to be so in control of the spirit. And then the other ones, how they get so misled, like, science, this whole God thing, that's not real. We're all just accidents anyways. It's like, fuck, man, they fuck with these people's heads so fucking bad. But, since I come from that group and I know, it's the people who have been my people until I said that they're lying about Trump. And suddenly I was a turncoat. I was like being attacked. Then, when I saw through that and I was on social media and I started seeing the conservatives being attacked by the liberals, it was vicious. And I started being attacked just from things I would say. I would get these attacks, and then I would get so stereotyped. They kept telling me I was this Christian from church and all this stuff. And that is where I started seeing, oh my God, people and their biases. Fuck, man. They're all just running a program. Nobody's thinking for themselves. They're just running programs. But you gotta break the program. You gotta have something inside of you turn on and be like, see something different. And so they're all just running programs, and I started being attacked and, called these names, and it was so generalized and it was so stereotypical. It was nonsense. And so I started going in and fighting against the liberals and telling them, like, calling them out on their shit. And there was people who, I thought that would be something that would help them or something, to kind of wake them up or something, because I knew like certain words, but the trigger words were much bigger. The TDS and stuff like that was way bigger. I was way out manipulated, like with that one. Like I couldn't, use my trigger words to try and get them back on track. No, they were deep in their hate. And all that has to purge out, but people have to recognize that's where they're at. So I was, when I was seeing the, the people's attitude and stuff, it was disgusting. And then I started getting to know more of the conservative people, and I started seeing like, they're not trying to control. They're just as confused and just want their rights as anybody else. They don't have all this attitude. A lot of them don't even go to church. I was like, a lot of them, I mean, it's like, I heard the numbers the other day. Somebody was saying, or it was some kind of video or something. It was the numbers of how many people went to church in the 60s, the 70s, 80s, whatever. And it's down to like 27%. And back when I was younger, it was, fuck. I mean, you were a real weirdo. If your family didn't go to church on Sundays, you were a real weirdo. So, fuck. It was very, very tight rules, and the parents were very abiding. And so it was very structured times. That's why when I was younger, I knew things had to fall apart the other way. I didn't know how far they would fall. Like they've fallen so far, and people just keep letting it fall further. And that is where they're going to feel their disconnect from themselves inside, because of how far they themselves are willing to let things fall. And I just saw a thing about on Facebook and Instagram, all of the hashtags that they have blocked that you're not allowed to use. All of them have to do with protecting little ones, all of them, because that's not what they're about. They've been already busted, but the people who are on that platform, who use it, who support it, they just continue to abide by the rules and don't question, because that's where they show their pictures, that's where they see their friends, that's where blah blah blah. It's like, well, I mean, like, I've been able to see it for a long time, and I can see what's coming, and I can see the people's own blindness to themselves is what's going to hurt them the most. So, and what they don't see coming, because it's just like, it's like if you're a kid in a neighborhood, and then okay, sometimes when I get shown these things, I don't know, like I've just got to go with the thing. So sometimes if you're a kid in a neighborhood, and you're going to this house with this weirdo, like a pervert, and you're always going over there, but you don't know, and you're really supportive, and you're always nice. You tell everybody, what a good person they are. You really stand behind them. And then, for a long time, you've lost friends over it because everybody tells you that they're rotten. And then, a couple of years later, you're standing out front watching them be arrested and find out, they're a horrible serial killer. And so then it's going to be like that kind of feeling for people. Like, how did I not see? What was wrong with me? And that is where people have got to see that the things you're trying to figure out what's wrong with you, why don't I see all that stuff, is because it's like another program. It's like another program in you that has to run, that you have to clear. Like, if you're going to think of things on the program kind of wavelength thing, so it's other programs. So those are like your healing is like you got to run these other programs to release them, to clean them, to clear them. I think it is good to think of yourself like a motherboard or something, a mothership, yourself. And because that perspective has really, done a lot for my understanding, I swear. But you got to come up with your own way of understanding things. And another thing too about the hair. So the I don't know, like everything I try, I'm never, it's like, oh, I love this, well, I'll do this again. And I'm really burnt down on the vinegar thing. And so I've been making my stuff in the essential oils, like the tea tree and stuff like that. That should keep anything like where people think like you would get lice if you don't wash your hair all the time. Like, I think you probably have a better chance of getting lice if you stripped your hair. I bet you that there's something about that, because of how lice has become so, they've gotten so strong. Is the same thing like that has gone on with bacteria. How we have gotten these bacterias that are, they're anti, they are, what is the word? They're too strong for antibiotic. They're antibiotic resistant. And some people, God, there's some people, who get an infection, and then old people. And this is where a lot of things, where we got to realize that, well, things are changing. It's so strange, because it's always like, well, we got to realize like things are going to stay the same. They're not going to stay the same. Nothing's going to be the same. Back in the day, when we used to die, because that's not going to be how things are going to be. And it has to do with frequency. It has to do with releasing this frequency, this sense of matter or something. And that, that's how our cells become more at a better vibration, why we don't die, we don't get sick and stuff, is because the vibration is going to be, it's just going to be a different vibration. I don't know how to explain it. I can just see this shit. like I can understand it, but I don't know how to, and that's what I'm saying. Just ask your guides, And I'm telling you, don't be freaked out if, as I heard this spiritual girl, and she is sitting there and she's like, well, I just don't see the solar flash, I just don't see this. I just don't see all that kind of stuff. And, I mean, my head went through a lot of things when she's saying that, but it just mostly landed on probably not her future then. She's probably leaving before that or something, because I think you know inside what it is that's to come or something. And the solar flash thing is something that has been said and written, and we're having solar flashes. I think people get their head in this idea of solar flashes like we're going to have a firebomb and it's going to bomb the world. And you got to realize everything is an energy. It's an energetic. It's going to feel like this, being kissed by the universe, this giant energetic, pulse of love. But if you're of low vibration, you haven't healed, it's going to hurt. And so that is this big thing about why you got to be doing your healing and all that. This vibration thing, it matters. And the vibration is you releasing shit. That is you're changing your frequency by releasing, because things don't matter. You're not holding yourself back and, I'm so mad. I'm not holding myself back in guilt and shame and anger and resentment and all that. And there's always battles. There's always, the opportunity to advance your attitude. Every time I walk with Stella, like, I swear to God, there's a child inside of me who just wants to yank that bitch. Come on, we're going. And, she outweighs me by a lot. So she can, just stand her ground, and she knows that. And I'm sitting there pulling her, like, oh, I've gotten a lot of comments. Oh, who walks who? But she's, she's respectful most of the time. But she does have a little bit of an attitude. And... and I get my child self, and then I got to pull it in, reel it in, go to the advanced self, go in, talk to the older Kelly, and be like, and that Kelly is like, okay, well, what could you do right now? You could stand here and you could look at the trees. You could enjoy this moment. You could sit here and talk to me. You could listen to the birds. There's a lot of things you can do for yourself right here in this moment, rather than have a little sissy fit and try and yank her and make her feel bad. She's enjoying her moment, so you get an opportunity to enjoy yours. And so it's like, okay. So, but there's that child inside of me who's constantly, needing a reprimand from that, whatever it is. Who did I say the other day? The guy, Captain Kirk, sitting in the chair. He's sitting on the main deck. But it doesn't look like Captain Kirk. But in the far back, in the visual, I see that Captain Kirk guy. But when I get up close, it's me, more advanced me. It isn't. I'm not talking to Captain Kirk. I'm not talking to the Almighty. I'm just talking to the me who has already advanced, who's already grown, who already is ahead of me. And so, anyways, I still wasn't done with the hair thing. So hold on, I got another drink. Now it's getting cold. And it's like kind of bitter. I don't even know what the hell all these herbs and shit I put on this shit. I'm out there. I've decided I'm just a real weirdo. But I'm okay with it. Like, we got to have a world of weirdos. I mean, it would be so boring if we were all just so normal. So, anyways, okay, so the hair. So, um, I made my little concoction and I spray that. I've done a couple of rinses and I'm never really super happy with how it looks. And I try and think about like a horse's tail, like, because this is, we're an animal and this is, this is here for a reason. And I saw somebody else, and I've talked about this a long while ago, and I had said about like, you can look up about the Varil Society that old Histler used, is his, he like used him kind of like the Red Witch. Like a lot of, there goes the burping. It's probably the fucking tea. It's probably the goddamn burps. No, because it goes all day long. It is, like, it gets worse, too. Like, and it isn't, sometimes I'll think, well, maybe it's because I'm talking in this loose esophagus problem I have. Maybe that is why. But I can sit here all day long and not talk and still have it happen. I think it's something weird with this atmosphere. There's something weird. I just know there is. There's something weird about, like, supposedly I'm at sea level, but I'm probably below sea level. There's something weird. I don't know. I just know there's something weird with this shit. So, anyways, the spraying the oils and stuff, and also there was a little bit of like that salt stuff. So I think I'm gonna add like a little. Well, I guess it's really hard to find Celtic sea salt right now, which is the best, I guess. But because the salts, there's a whole fucking thing. Like everything they've tried to take out of minerals, like all these people do, like they're just so rotten. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy how rotten they are and how much it affects you as you age. Like the pains and stuff inside my body. And it's like this long-term poisoning, what they do to us. And then they get us to want to be like, well, I'm old and I'm in pain and life just has no purpose. As soon as you get to retirement age, they want you fucking depressed and out. Like, get sick and die, motherfuckers. That's all they want. So, anyways, the salt thing. So, I think I'm at a little bit of salt, too. But whatever has gone on with my hair is just, it's gone into a mind of its own. If it wants to turn however it's going to turn, like it'll just do whatever it wants to do. And which before I started all this, it was looking dead. It was looking flat. It was looking sad. I kept saying it was doing weird stuff. It was trying to strangle me. Sometimes it sounded like a guitar strings. Sometimes it was like going and attacking my face like little fine threads. It was weird. And I was like really trying to get my attention. And, I thought I was doing good by detoxing. And what was the other thing? Because I thought I was doing really good with my hair. What was that? I can't think of it. I'll think of it in a sec. But so, I switched to the shampoo bars. I kept trying to do different things, and I thought I was doing, good for my hair, but it was it was really rough, man. It was crazy how much my hair was attacking me all the time. And so then when I stopped using shampoo, like it does its own thing. Like if it wants to turn this way, sometimes it'll turn good ways, and sometimes it just turns it just turns any old funkin' way it wants to. And so yesterday I started to do a TikTok video, and it was just, I kept pushing it back, because usually I'll just push it back, and then when it kind of falls into a place, then I'll start the thing. And so it was just going like weird, like doing weird things. So I did a little video about stopping shampooing, and my hair loves the no poo, and it has just come up with a life of its own, or mind of its own. And but that video got, 200 that I got in 10 minutes. But comments and stuff. But this one guy, Dwayne, he comes on and he's like, gross. You don't wash your hair. I can't remember what he said, but I'd heard from other girls on who have done videos, when they talk about that they don't shampoo their hair, people automatically start saying you're gross, you stink, and all this kind of stuff. Like it's so programmed in people's heads that they automatically just think that, you know, and it is, it's just so crazy because, like, to me, our hair it is a mistake that we're stripping it. And so this video I had seen the other day where I've talked about this a bunch of times about our hair being an antenna. And so I thought, my hair is really long and I don't color it. That was the other thing. So I thought, I was doing really well and my hair is a good antenna. I am, I hear a lot of stuff. And that's the thing with the Vril Society too, is all those women that they used for the psychic communication with the alien, the interdimensional, multidimensional people, is that they'll have really long hair. And I've been saying about, your hair is your antenna. And then they have all these people just damaging the fuck. And then we wonder, like, why these people are lost. It's like their antenna, it's like, well, we went around and broke all the antennas off all the ants. What would happen? So, all these people going around lost, it's no wonder. And so they get people to damage it, cut it all off, shave their head. Shaving your head became such a style, and then you think about how that's manipulated for real. No joke. They put like a Vin Diesel in a movie with this trendy new style, so all the guys copy it so they can all be a badass like Vin Diesel. And then they all have the bald heads and all become unfeeling little robot men. You know what I mean? So it's all on purpose. And I think, in the 70s, guys were all growing their hair out. They were all anti-establishment. Because before that, they spent their time in a barber chair with their dads, going to the barber shop and getting it, high and tight. It was very, and then there became a part in the 70s where I know my mom just quit cutting my brother's hair, and all their hair just started being long and shaggy. All the guys we went to school with, all their hair became long and shaggy. Lots of guys had really long hair. I mean, hardly ever did you see a guy who had short hair. That was really unusual. If you saw a guy who had short hair, you'd be like, oh, he's an ROTC. He has to have short hair, as everybody had long hair. And so, yeah, the more militant, it would look very militant. I don't know in Kansas, if I went back and saw my cousins, I don't remember them ever having long, shaggy hair, but everything is a cultural lifestyle. I was in the city then, I was in Dallas. So, it would have been more of that kind of thing than you go out to the farms. I'm sure everybody still had their hair, down at the barber shop every 2 weeks or whatever. So, but there was a period of time, when men were really felt and stuff. And that is what is so disappointing about that Jesus Revolution movie, because it shows right there. It shows right in the goddamn movie when people started getting into that feeling and becoming a part of this world. And, what is it all about? And we've been lied to, like, because, you can feel God isn't judging you. God loves you. So, but then they, just turned it into the mega churches and took over people's spiritual learning. And people followed. People always follow. They do as they're told. They're obedient. And you got to think, there's a good side to that. I mean, there's a good side. It's not the people. The people want to blame one another for everything. It's not the people who want to have wars. It's not the people who want to fight. Most people don't want to fight with their fucking neighbor. Most people just want to just go about their business. I just saw a video. Oh yeah, okay, so let me finish with Dwayne. And then, so Dwayne, he, he's like, oh, gross, blah. And so I said, I said, gross, question mark. I said, what if I look at it as like, I think that's really strange. You put all those chemicals on your head. And So it started a conversation. So we had this conversation throughout the day. And by the end of it, he was like, I'm going with no shampoo. He decided, because he was like, I get so greasy. And I said, that lasts a couple weeks. Once you get past that, it's like you have this rebound that happens. Like my hair doesn't do that anymore. It doesn't become like a grease factory, like it's got to re-wax itself because I've stripped it for so long. And it's like, finally, bitch. And all of it goes, and your hair just becomes this total grease factory. And then it is, yeah, it's weird because the texture is different. A lot of things change, but you get kind of used to it. And then, but there's still this, drive of like, we were programmed to clean our hair. And, the boar brush thing works really good. Like it gets, like when you brush it, there's all sorts of like lint, just like little pieces of, I don't know, fabric or cotton from outside, little pieces of stuff that it just pulls all that stuff out. So I feel like it really cleans it, just like a horse's tail. I think that we're not supposed to be, I think there's a part of us that is supposed to be connected to this other thing, but we're also in this transition period. So the connection's kind of changing. So washing our hair and stuff is not going to be the same because it's going to be like our bodies are not going to have the same requirements. Like there's a whole thing about we won't need to eat. Like we're going through this whole thing about learning. I think what I've been learning is, this concept. Hold on, I think it's really cold now. Let me get the last drink. That about energy and food. And like I said, like how much when my awakening, how they started bringing into my awareness about this brethren group or whatever, these brethren people, I think they're called. And they have been living off of prana for a fucking long ass time. They use the sun and breath work to do their energy. And like there's people who haven't gone to the bathroom in years. Like there's all sorts of stuff about it. And when I had very first heard of it, I thought, man, that's some crazy people. But then hearing about, when the seed was planted, but then hearing of it way later, then I have a way different perspective. And then I'm way more of interest in like, oh man, and those people are still around. They're still doing this. There's something to it. And then you start hearing more people talking about more things. You start understanding more about energy. You start understanding more about their whole concept, their whole pull is for them to create this idea that we're flesh and blood, and this is it for us. And so it's us having to reprogram, pulling free from that concept. It pulls us into our energy self, our who we are, who we are at our core. That is a part of, to me, this whole transition into when you realize who you are. Like if you saw my foot, like it's freaky. I told my daughter yesterday because she was talking about something. It's really cool having people waking up. It's really, really cool. I think it's really exciting. And, if you've got yourself into some huge arguments with your family, and they're starting to wake up, people are waking up and, if you got yourself into some situations and you don't get to be a part of it, or you're just too angry or whatever, work through that shit. And keep in mind, this isn't just stuff from this life. You're dealing with shit from multiple lives. Like this person who you're so angry at, like a sibling or something, could have been a spouse in another life. And so that is why you have these like so much anger built up, where it's like, what am I so mad about with this person? It's because of some other life that somehow you got fucked over, and your soul is, has this hesitance or this anger or whatever, and you're repressing it. You're holding it in because, as far as you're concerned, that doesn't even exist. Like, that's crazy talk. So, anyways, but this is all for each soul. This is every soul's opportunity. Are they ready? Are you ready Do you ready to face yourself, to understand who and what you are? And but getting into that place is where, you know, we're not going to age. We're going to be healthy all the time. We're going to not need to eat. Like all these things that we were programmed into thinking that we needed, we don't need once you start realizing, oh, wait a minute, I'm just energy. I'm just energy, and I'm making this picture so that I can experience. And it's like my leg is sealing up. And what is also trippy is I feel like it could do it way faster. I feel like it's me needing this process to watch myself heal. But I think shit is way more matrix. Like, I think that we could literally cut ourselves, look at it and go, no. And then it would just seal itself up real quick. And it is literally sealing. It is so trippy. And it doesn't hurt. Like, there's a part that hurts where it's slammed down the gate across my foot and across my ankle. And I think it hit this other ankle too. Because I'm having all these other, like, fuck, I got so many aches and pains right now. And fuck. And I know it's something with, you know, the poisons and shit, because they cause this inflammation and shit. And that is what causes this, the stiffness, the pain and painful joints and whatnot. So the, my foot. So so it has like, you know, like a place, like a bruise or something that hurts like that. But like the cut thing, and there's only this like little tiny part left, and it is just like sealing up, like there was nothing there. It is so weird, especially because that cut that I had on the side of my foot, I had to go get stitches. Is that where it is? I can't even remember. Because in the side of your foot, you got all those little wrinkles. But I know when I got the stitches out, so I would have probably been going, I don't know, today or tomorrow to get them out. Or I would have taken them out. But it still had all, it was still funky. Like it had everywhere the stitch comes out, you have all those little things to heal. And those stay there for a bit. You have a red line. Like, I don't have any of that stuff. There's not even a red line. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I just, to me, you know, I know that the universe or your guides or whatever will keep knocking you back, or you'll get sick or depressed or whatever. When you need to take time to face yourself, to see yourself, whatever. There was definitely, you know, I had a lot of really good conversations with them on these days where I've been sitting here and stuff. What was it? Oh, watching that fucking the staircase too. Because I realized in that one that, you know, because I'm always saying, like, I'm not a voyeur. Like, I don't want to watch all these people have sex in movies. Why the fuck are they always pushing this on us? And then when I was watching the staircase, and the one day I had to turn it off, it was like, fuck, man, this is like, ugh. This is like gross. This is like somebody going into a crisis and us all standing and watching. And I felt really like dirty. And I was like, there's something really sick about this, you know? It's like this exposing of a crises, you know, and it's all gathering. And especially there's so many of these docuseries regards of rich people. You know, I mean, definitely opened your eyes. There's some fucking sicko weirdos, man. They're definitely not like the respectable people of the community. And so and they're skeezy. Again, so this, I was watching, it was like really kind of bothering me. And so then I was getting it hard yesterday where I was like, this is a voyeur. You are a voyeur. You are watching someone's life unravel for entertainment. And so I was like, you know, I was going through these deep moral conversations of, you know, coming into that realization of, what really is going on when we watched, like, because I've always been, I've said it a million times, I get really hooked on those true stories. And I always had a different attitude about true stories because I understand like the spiritual part of a story behind the story. Like I know everything is all our stories. There are stories that we play out in order to learn and grow. And it was another girl. I talked about one a long while ago, the girl at the gas station at the dog park who started talking to this lady. Their dogs were the same name. They had the same name. Their brothers were the same name. Both their brothers died. Like all these things that were just like so trippy. Then there was a girl, I just saw a video, and she just had it happen. And so she went to a little ice cream place in, I don't know, Massachusetts or something, maybe Michigan. Anyways, it was, they went into this little place, and it was like her dream kind of retirement thing. And so there was all this, they were the only people in there, her husband, and her daughter. The owner started talking to him, and there was just nonstop, all synchronicities between this woman and this other woman, where she was like, she was sure she must have met her future self. She was like freaking out. And I've seen these different people having these synchronistic events. I don't know what it all means. Like, I don't know if it is another aspect of yourself. I don't know if it is, I mean, we're all living so similar. The thing that keeps us apart is that we all take on this, like, there's something wrong with us. So we're broken instead of realizing, like, everybody feels the same way. Like, trying to get a kid to understand when they're going to school, you don't need to be insecure or feel like everybody's looking at you, because they're all feeling the same way. Nobody's looking at you. They're all so worried someone's looking at them. The only time that somebody's looking at somebody is like they're trying to draw the attention off of them to make fun of somebody else, jump on board. Oh, yeah, you got 4 eyes, because they want to not have anybody make fun of them. So they'll direct the energy towards somebody else. But most of the people are just so insecure. And, that's like our general thing. That's why people won't, can sit there and watch somebody be axe murdered in front of them and then just stand there paralyzed because they need other people to say that's wrong. They need the group. It's a part of, I think it's a part of this development, this soul development or something, or a part of what the soul needs to remember itself or something. Like there's something to it. Like there's something, like when you think about it, I mean, I don't think anybody would think about that or witness that and go, oh yeah, well, that's okay. We should all do that. No, I think everybody, when they see that, they think, oh, well, I would be the first one. I'd rush right up. I would do this. I would do that. People don't realize how paralyzed they are by the group's energy or something. You got to really be strong. You got to really pull free and pull yourself out and be the one who's going to, once you do, you'll have other ones who will rush in with you. But there has to be one that starts it. And I think that more and more people are like turning away from that kind of way. As I saw a video recently of a woman trapped in a car in a wreck, and a whole shit ton of men rushing up and trying to, I don't know if they were trying to tip the car back over to get her out, if it was starting on fire, but it was a whole big group of men. And then one time I was driving down upriver, is this road in Spokane that goes all along the river. And it has a little small airport, and there was it was Mother's Day, I think, or Father's Day. No, what was it? I think it was Mother's Day. And the woman's son and dad went out for a little flight and crashed into the river, and everybody was pulling over, and there was men who were just running straight to that water, jumping straight in. So, that's that was good. It seems like there was, but I think it was one. Yeah, I think that they were ran up and they were standing there and one ran up and just jumped in. Then I think other ones jumped in, but even jumping into the dam, it was so close to the little dam overflow thing too. So probably was really dangerous too. So anyways, but I mean that study has been shown and shown and shown that people, like the one study about the people who they had somebody in one room and somebody in another room, and the person in the one room is sitting with the person doing the test, and then they're told they have to shock this other person. So they have to keep doing this shock, and they have to keep turning it up and shocking this person, and they can hear the person screaming and yelling and begging for them to stop, and they keep doing it because they're told. They follow orders, so they keep doing it. And the test is to see how long will somebody continue to hurt somebody else just because they're told to. It's pretty long for some people. That's what we're experiencing. We're experiencing this. We're seeing it play out in real life. These people who just continue to follow orders. They don't stop and think like, well, does this make sense? Is this good? Am I hurting other people? Like, there's a whole, whole thing to realize, to see. Oh, and there was another thing too that I wanted to make sure and say too, because, when I talk about like when I was 16 and these 26-year-old guys that were around all the time, who were always going out, and like I was hanging out with all these really older guys. And I don't want to make it sound like these guys were all a bunch of pedophiles or something. You got to keep in mind, like I was 5'9", 125, 130 pounds. Like I look like a woman. And like from the time I was 13. So woman size, I guess, I was tall. I mean, I don't know what, if you were standing there looking at my face. To me, I know that this one big old basketball player, when I was flying back and forth from LA, no, Southern California to Dallas, I went through a period of time, and this basketball player guy I met on there, and I guess he could tell I had a young face because he was saying something about my cheeks. My cheeks were a thing. Like, my cheeks were a thing. Like, I heard a lot of things about my cheeks over a lot of time. Like, I may say, and people could look at me now and be like, what the hell is she talking about, these cheeks? No, it was a whole part of me, these cheeks. And he said that, oh, you've got those cheeks that you're going to look really good when you get older. And, I mean, when you're young and you just got these giant ass cheeks, you're not thinking, oh, great, so when I get old, I'll look good. You're thinking, well, how long is that going to take? How long do I have to have these giant ass cheeks? I may have even asked him. Because it seems like somebody told me, like, oh, probably around 26 or 27, you'll start losing some of your cheeks. But really, I think that the becomes more defined just as getting much older, and I think that's the benefit or something, is these cheeks. So, but anyways, the cheeks were something when I was younger. They were just really huge. And it was like, and it was thick too. It was like thickness. I was really super skinny, and I had this like thick cheek face, and I would bite in my cheeks all the time. I was like extreme fatness in my cheeks. And I know I'd bite into them all the time. I was like, oh, you motherfuckers. It was like, oh, it was rough. Like, that's why, to me, it's like these women who are so beauty conscious, and, they just want to, they have their beautiful skinny faces when they were young, and now they got to go in and get cheekbones so that they don't lose their definition of their face or something. And then it's like, but you didn't even go through the other thing. You didn't have to go through all the big ass cheeks and biting into them and stuff. Fuck, I bit into my cheeks so many times. God, that hurt. So, anyways, that's just a whiny ass thing. But so when those older those guys, they weren't like a bunch of pedos or something. They just were. But to me, the thing about it Like, I'm not going to blame my mom. I mean, it was a different time, too. And she didn't know. Even if she knew, it's like during that period of time, it was like she was going through her, you know, getting divorced, selfish time or something. Like, I don't think she was thinking much about, me. I probably always seemed like, well, I think I seemed like I could take care of myself until that one day when I was crying. And that she told me, well, what's wrong with you is that abortion pill I took. I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know I was a abortion pill survivor. Like, but the thing that got me was because that was what's wrong with me. Like, you're not allowed to have emotions, you little weirdo. So, anyways, so I don't, blame her about these older guys. I know it was part of, my destiny, or it was part of my story. And the thing with those guys, what was it? Because it was something that just came into my mind and I wanted to say. It's just like goes right through like a choo-choo train. Because with those guys, and because I know that there's other soul connections and stuff like that. Like, it's deeper than just this one life. And, the thing that gets me, though, with the older guys that, going with younger girls, well, obviously, they just liked how I looked or something. Because, I mean, it wasn't like they wanted to just sit and talk to me. Everybody thought I was, like, fucking weird. And, I would get told all the time, like, I talked about weird stuff, or I was too deep, or, why do you think about that? I just heard somebody talking, doing a video, and they were talking about something, and somebody had said that to them. I was like, people just don't realize. And maybe it was in a show or something. I don't remember. But it was like, people don't realize, I think, how much they shut other people down. And just telling them, what they should think about, what's the acceptable, what's the appropriate thing that you're allowed to talk about. Societal appropriateness. You can't talk about what you think about. That would be too weird. So, anyways, what gets me is that, like, the older guys, like, it's shallow. Like, you're just going out with somebody just for how they look. You don't give a crap about them. You don't give a crap about them inside. And there's just a thing about older guys, can control younger girls so easily because of, they've got more experience, and so they take girls who don't have much experience. So it's all about control. It's all about them. It's about what they want. And so, and that is, to me, those are the karmic wheels, and that's where, I can't sit here and get all hung up. I'm like, oh, those guys, they were such assholes, and blah, 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 about poor me. Because then I know, like, I probably had something to do with that fucking gypsy lifestyle, or that gypsy life that I lived. It was probably, they were part of the people I fucked over. And so then, you come back in and you experience, what it's like to get fucked over because you fucked somebody else over. And so it is, it's like this going full circle all the time. So, in the whole cycle of life, you're going back and forth all the time. So how do you just stop at one point and go, well, in this life, you really fucked me over? It's like, well, a soul wouldn't do that. A soul wouldn't get all hung up and, because this life is so insignificant. It's like, just put it in a reference of dreams. Like, you're going to just go, oh, this one dream I had, that was the most important dream of my whole entire life. Like, you have lots and lots of dreams. And so just put that into the same perspective as lives. If all those dreams were different lives, then how would you just pinpoint that one? That one mattered. So when you're in the dream, when you're in the scenario, put that into perspective. Don't sit here and get all like, oh, well, I mean, every single interaction's the worst, you know, and dealing with this person, like, and start recognizing opportunity to fix and heal things. Like, I think there's a lot of people right now who've got division in their families and aren't getting this period of time of the people remembering, or the people waking up, and these opportunities to, you know, I don't know, give them some other information if they ask, or, you know, just to witness it. It's not so you can run in and go, I told you, I told you. That's the kind of stuff, like, you don't want any more of that. You don't want any more of that shit in your family. That shit is like, you got to start practicing getting out of that, you know, especially in this awakening, and people with their ego about the awakening, and the people who have woke up and they think that, like, they're better than these other people who haven't. It's like, that is what you are going to be facing. That part of yourself, the ego mind, that part of you that thinks you're better than somebody else. That's what they're going to be facing. Everybody has some they're going to be facing. So, you know, and I'm still like, fuck, I don't know what I'm going to be facing. Like, I mean, it's definitely out there that all of the, whatever the things they've shown me and told me for all these years, you know, that I maybe made it all up somehow in my head, and that will be shown to me. It's like, fuck, bring it on. Thank God. I'm sick of putting energy out to something that gives me no energy back. So, fuck, I'm sick of it. Like, good. Show me the truth. I'm ready for the fucking truth. Like, I'm fucking, you know, I think everybody's got to reach these points of, like, recognizing where am I putting my energy, and what is it giving back to me? You know, is it just taking my energy and nothing's coming back? And that's a big part of jobs. That's a big part of a lot of bad relationships too. Like, there's still, like, tons of relationships just ending. And there's one that was, like, sad. Like, there's a lot of them are sad. People are doing this very sloppily, and you don't even know, like, you can't get caught up in the judgment. You can't get caught up in your stories. These are souls working out their shit. This one was the girl and the guy were engaged. They live in Florida. They just got this really great apartment in Baton Rouge, or Boca Raton or something. Not Baton Rouge, that's Louisiana. So maybe Boca Raton or something like that. And so she was all excited. They were getting their dream place. And they had, like, Thursday they had to be out of their old one, and Friday they could move into their new one. So she goes home, like, I don't know, Thursday to, or it was Wednesday or Thursday, something like that, and goes walking in, and everything is out of the apartment. The apartment's empty, and he's just standing there with the dog, who she thought that the dog was theirs together too, even though I guess it was his, but she had gotten a relationship with the dog. And so he's standing there, and he just says it's over. And they'd been engaged for a year, and he said, the engagement's over, the whole thing's over, and I want my ring back. He'd sold everything. He didn't even leave her. I think I think he left her a blanket, like a one blanket or something. Like, she said she was homeless now. She had no bed. She had nowhere to sleep. She was just like, it was sad. This girl was, like, falling apart. It was really, you know, sad. And she was, her posts, I guess, are all, like, upbeat. She's a Christian, you know, so she's trying to, you know, put out this certain persona. A lot of people have been putting out in a certain persona, and life hadn't hit them yet. And then a lot of people are getting hit by life publicly. And that is the humility, but it's a part of their full circle. There's a reason for it. Nothing is by accident. And it's a challenge, you know, it's a challenge to reach your rock bottom publicly. There's a lot of people, like, I talk about things that people have no way would talk about. They don't want people to know. It's way more important that people think I'm perfect than if they know I've got any issues, or how I look at things and what I think about. It's like, You're trying to hide yourself. Why do you try and hide yourself? What are you ashamed of? Do you think you're doing something wrong? Do you think something's wrong with you? Because if you do, that's something you need to try and work out. You need to try and face yourself. Why do you think something's wrong with you? Who are you comparing yourself to? How are you, and why do you think they're better than you? Why do you think, especially if you feel of you on the inside, why do you think that somebody else is better than you, that makes them a good person and you a bad person? Like, those are all things for somebody to have to face. All these things are all bringing up opportunities to face. And but that guy is sitting there saying he wants his ring back too. Like, usually to me, anytime somebody's engagement's off, it's like, like, yeah, why would you want to keep the ring? Fuck them. But in this case, it was like, no, she should keep the damn ring and pawn it and get some goddamn furniture, a place to live. Like, that's some bullshit, leaving somebody like that. Like, that's rude. Like, when I left my long marriage, and when I was married, and it was just not what I thought it was going to be, and I did not want to be a single mom again. I was just like, oh, fuck, I cannot believe I got to do this again. Went back to school, became a nurse, and when I left him, I had it all planned out, and I had been telling him for years. Like, the only reason it would have been a shock is because he was drunk and he didn't want to face it. But I have been telling him for a long time, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you. I told him exactly when, how old I was going to be for years. And, I had a plan. And I said, you either, change and start being honest and stop drinking, or I'm leaving. I'm not going to put up with this, your anger and all this bullshit. Like, get your shit together. And, but it continued, so I left. And when I did, I thought the most horrific thing would be is for my kids to get up and everything's just gone. My kids to come home from school and all the furniture's gone. Where'd mom go? I thought, that's some bullshit. So, if I'm going to be the one leaving, I'm the one who has to go buy new stuff. Like, that's rude. And so I went and shopping, and I went and bought furniture. I went and found an apartment. I went and found furniture at World Market, and was there another place? Oh yeah, a furniture store. I went and got, and so anyways, I had it all set up with all this furniture to be delivered or picked up on the same day I got the apartment. And so, I mean, it right now, talking about it makes me feel sick to my stomach. So, I'm sure it's not going to be a pretty thing for me to face in my life review. I guess at least, as things, we're facing things now, and some of this stuff is just facing the fact, like, yeah, you've been a dick. You've hurt people, so how can you go around judging people who also hurt people because you've hurt somebody, you've hurt people. And I think that that's where we just have to keep perspective, to understand, we're all ignorant. We all make mistakes. We all do stupid stuff. We all hurt people without meaning to. We all hurt people while we think we're protecting ourselves, and it just seems so underhanded, now, I go and get all this new furniture and get it set up, get all my friends from nursing school to help me move. I have this whole big fucking thing that happened in this one day. It's like, God, Kelly, that's kind of really shitty, because no matter what, even if they came home, and everything's there, my clothes would have still, my closet was empty. Well, even if the furniture was all there, I was still missing. And it threw their dad into a spiral. Like, it was a scary spiral, too. I've gone through some scary spirals with people. But I do know 100% you cannot let somebody else's drowning, you can't jump in with them. You got to let them save themselves. You got to let them see for themselves. You can't stop somebody from hurting themselves if they really want to hurt themselves. You can't take on the responsibility if somebody has gone and hurt themselves of like, well, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have been a better friend, I should have been a better listener, and all that stuff. It was always going to happen the way it was going to happen. It had to happen that way. And whatever the things are that you feel, that you see, those are just things for you to learn and grow from. Like, well, I'm going to be a better listener. My one daughter, who gets so irritated about people not listening well, and here she is right. Like, her and I do have conversations where I do not hear at all what she said. I hear something totally different. And I'll be having one conversation and she's having another one. And she'll get so frustrated. But she said, I'm a really good listener. It's important to me, and it drives me crazy that people are not better listeners. And she did have a situation like where a friend did end up doing themselves in. And I don't remember, the last day or something, if it was somebody couldn't talk or somebody didn't have time or something, but there was some significant impact that has really, shook her. She's had a lot of big shakes. I mean, she had a house fire, and that it was shocking that she woke up and lived the whole thing. The smoke alarms were melted. It was in apartments. It was the apartment below her burned up and started hers on fire, and she was in the back of bedroom, and all of the front part. Her cat did end up dying a few months later, but it was shocking that he didn't die then. And so it's shocking she didn't die. But that's where you got to realize that things happen to wake you up, shake you up, get you back on track, get you to notice things, get you to see things. Tragedies and awful things don't happen by accident or to punish you. It happens for a purpose, for a reason. And so that's what, leveling up in your consciousness helps you to understand, is that so you don't have to go through all of the whole, victim and why is this happening and poor me, poor me. I can't believe it. I must have been a horrible person in a past life. Well, guaranteed, we all were. We've all been horrible people. We are all always putting things back into alignment. We're always shifting things. But, to go in and play a horrible person, you don't judge it. You judge it in this because, you've been hurt from people. And we're in this very black and white stage of development, of understanding. But it's the melding of the two. The realization that you have both in you. You are the light and the dark. And it is your balance that creates the optimal, it's the balance. But you are the creator of the balance, and all the balances are related to your own life journey, your own soul's journey. So that's why we're not all balanced in the same. It goes through our difference. Like, what books did you check out of the library? And your perspective is based on your views from what you have registered or recognized from your education of those different books. And so that is what gives you your perspective or your opinions on things. And so is that there's nothing wrong with all the people having different opinions. It's more important for the people to have different opinions. The most important is for the people to have different opinions and for us to come together and to accept one another's opinions, to see it on a higher level, to understand that there's a purpose for that. It's not for frustration. It's not for anger. It's not for control. It's for acceptance. Because acceptance is high-minded. The battle is the low. That's why war and fighting and arguing is low vibration. It's not a higher vibration. Acceptance is the higher vibration. It's the difference of how you feel when you're angry and wanting to fight somebody, when you're in a state of forgiveness and love. It feels good. It feels high. It feels, it feels better. When you're angry, most people, especially as you awaken your spiritual side of you, you don't want to feel anger. You don't want to feel angry at people. It's like, well, I'm going to go through life and do my best to not get angry over stupid things. Like, if I'm going to get angry, I'm going to go into my higher mind and have a little conversation and see things a little more clearly, so I'm not overreacting like a child. And so getting more perspective, taking time to think things through, But it is reaching that state of bliss is the state of love and forgiveness. And, you can't reach it if you're holding on to anger and frustration. It's impossible. The only way to be able to feel the bliss is to let go of the anger. You got to let go of it to move towards feeling good. And you have to recognize and you have to see that's part of, setting yourself boundaries. Like, oh, well, every time I go over there, they always say this and it always makes me mad. So, you get yourself into like, okay, well, they're kind of repetitive. They're kind of, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to say the same thing. They're just so stuck. It's kind of really sad. So why would I let somebody who's so stuck, why would I let their view, why would I be affected? Like, walk yourself through it to get yourself into that place. Then when an opportunity arises and somebody is crossing your boundaries, so maybe they say the one thing and you kind of laugh it off, but then they put on the pressure because they've got to, really take a stand and show everybody, themselves. They've got to go all in. A lot of people are all going all in on this shit. So when they start going all in, then, take that opportunity to set your boundary and say, hey, I don't appreciate how you're talking to me right now. I think it's very, call it out what it is. It's intrusive, it's judgmental, it's none of your business. It's whatever it is, just a sharp boundary. You don't have to go into it. You don't have to over explain. You don't have to shame them. You don't have to do anything other than claim your feeling, how you feel, how this situation is making you feel. It's very vulnerable. It's very hard to do. Most people want to overreact. They want to get angry. They want to yell. They want to scream. That's more comfortable to go into that childish kind of, behavior. But that is where you want to move out of the childish behavior and move into the adult, the matured version of yourself. So, and it is, being vulnerable is hard, and you may start crying. You may, become super emotional, and don't be embarrassed about that. Showing your vulnerability is so much more important for these people to see because they're blind to it. They don't know. They don't understand. So it's important for you to show them so that they can, it's like role modeling. So you're role modeling healthy behavior. They may not, they're not going to stop everything and go like, oh, well, this is great. No, they're going to become combative, especially if for a long, long time they've been able to say and do whatever they want. And most people, they know inside themselves like that they're being an asshole. So then it's like a hairpin trigger when you call them out on that. And so, don't be thinking like the first time you set a boundary that's all going to go smooth and beautiful and you're going to feel good about it. It can go really rocky and really shaky and really emotional. You can feel, like an idiot, and you're going to be mad at yourself and go like, why did I even say that? Why, but then, a week later, you could get an apology from this person. So don't, be true to you. If something is making you feel bad, you got to stand for that. You got to advocate for yourself. And don't just sit there and be somebody's doormat, somebody's pincushion, somebody's like backdrop wall, that they can just throw things at when they are having a hard time, the dog that they got to go by and kick. So don't be that for somebody, and recognizing, that's a big growth step of recognition when you see like, I'm just a doormat to this person. Don't take it on personally. There's things you got to heal for yourself for that recognition to realize like it's a whole path that you enter, but don't feel bad about yourself. Like that you are weak or you've done something wrong or something. Take great value in the recognition of seeing, and seeing that you're not taking good enough care of yourself, that you are not standing up for yourself, that you let people walk all over you, It's been a big part of programming. And, your parents were programmed and they programmed you. So our society has been very, it is a ride. It just got us going up and down all over the place. And it is giving people whiplash. People don't even know what's up, what's down, what's right, what's left. And that is where we're going to hit a wall where it's going to be so obvious and so clear. And that is what is going to hurt so many people because there's so much confusion. But it's going to be very crystal clear. But for the people who that they are, when you go and you set a boundary and somebody is saying something to you, so they're being, saying something that bothers you, and they say it all the time and you just smile it off and everybody laughs and, but it bothers you that they're always doing this. That is where, you gotta, stand up for yourself and say, I don't want you to say that to me. It bothers me. Every time I leave here, I feel angry towards you for putting me down and ridiculing me. You're so judgmental towards me to say that. However it is, you call them out on what they're doing. Don't go in, oh, you're a stupid ass. You're always so rude. Don't do that. No, be defined. Know exactly what it is that they're doing and call them out on it. And when they overreact, or, you could get it just like how my daughter, when I said, quit judging me. You just keep judging me. And so then, she runs over and hugs me and is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be judging you. I didn't even notice. I didn't realize I was. Because there's people who, when you call them out on what they're doing, sometimes then it's all of a sudden like, oh shit, I didn't even realize I was doing that, but we don't do that. Instead, we sit and fight and play this back and forth badminton of insults. And that is very non-productive. And how is anything supposed to heal or get better? But also when you're telling other people, be open to what you need to do to be, what you do that is rocks the boat. Maybe every time you go, everybody becomes uncomfortable because you end the night every time with a crying fit and slamming all the doors and everybody's on edge waiting for your meltdown, So maybe it is you need to recognize like, oh, fuck, I have meltdowns. Like, fuck, I just get myself so frazzled. I don't even know what to do but have a little fit. That's my little baby side of me. And I'm working on my mature side of me now. So my mature side and my baby side, we'll have a talk about this. And we will, work on it. We'll get better. And don't be hard on yourself if you're not better instantly. Reprogramming is a job. It's not a simple task. It is a huge awareness and triggers are so deep. And so it is, every time you can catch them and recognize and take the opportunity to heal or release or whatever is, it's like magic because they are so entwined into your being. It's hard to separate, and see. So all of it's like a dissecting of your emotional state. And it's, but it has great value. Like there's no, it's not like a defeating thing. It can be a difficult thing, but it's a positive thing. It's something that is going to bring joy, bring goodness to you. It's the relief of what you carry. People think like it is something else, but you're carrying this stuff. You're carrying this anger. You're carrying this resentment. You're carrying this pain, all from these little things. Like somebody said this, somebody did that. And, and when you're continuing to actively participate with these people, you've got to set boundaries. You got to be able to walk away and say, well, I'm going to go home. I got to get going before I have a baby fit. I might go in there and slam some doors and cry. So I don't want to ruin y'all's night. I'm going to go ahead and take off now. Make it a funny thing, make it fun. Make it just recognizing and saying your truth. If it's calling yourself out, if it's claiming your own truth. And then also to make it a little bit more lighthearted, may give that person an opportunity to not become so defensive. They may be more open to what you're saying. And then a lot of times people need space after, they need to process. They need to go through, like somebody, you could say something to somebody and they could go like blank look on their face, and you have no idea how it affected them or if they're about to blow up or whatever, because they're in here processing, because there's a whole conversation happening that is got their attention. And so, and then you are trying to perceive their emotions by looking at them or whatever. And, you can perceive differently than what you think is going on. And then that is also an assumption, is also another area to argue. It's like, don't assume. If you're going to assume anything, assume that they're happy until they say they're not. And if somebody, is not at that place to be able to say when they're not happy, that's on them. No matter what, that's where we set a standard. We don't have to guess. We don't have to use our psychic powers to guess how you feel. You're a grown up. It's up to you to say how you feel. It's not up to us to all sit back and guess. That's the elephant in the room. Is up to the adult, the matured person, to say how they feel about something, to not think that the whole room needs to try and figure it out or guess or accommodate their emotional state. And that is setting a standard and moving into a more mature, more matured society, a more maturely interactive society, where we are, we don't play games. We don't argue over senseless stuff. We don't need somebody else to tell us that we're okay to feel good. There's a lot of simple things that are going to be changing, that are going to change the whole world. But it's up to each person to be, taking steps into their change, to be, doing their work, to, find themselves, and not be ashamed of themselves, not feel like there's something wrong with them, not feel like that they are dirty or stupid or ugly. And also thing about looks, man, it is so much different than what people think. Like, and it is just this superficial society has just got people to just focus so much on that. And think about it. Just think about the different people who, you can look at different people, like all different people. Like, you could be out somewhere and you could see the most oldest, wrinkliest person, and just you see the most beautiful person in the whole wide world standing there. Like, this beauty standard it's not real. And the only pressure is what we put on ourselves, that we feel like we're not good enough. We feel like we're not pretty enough. We're not this, that, and we're, this, that, or the other enough. It just minimizes us the same way as labels, set this beauty standard. How can you set a beauty standard in such a variety of different people? There's no set standard. Maybe it's the people who own the media, and it's their standard, and we already know that they're into, prepubescent. They are, strange ones. They're strange. I don't know what to say about these people. They're just different than us. We all have a thing about wanting to be free and go out and live and, be a couple with somebody and go out and experience life. And a lot of people want to have families and stuff. These people, they just want to run the show, control us, and do deviant behaviors and eat weird shit. Like, these people are weird. Like, they have a different purpose for being alive, but theirs is the ending and ours is just beginning. So, we ought to see theirs end, but ours is starting, and ours is, it's going to be beautiful when you've got all these people who, just want peace on earth. They just want, their own space, their own time, their own matter of existence, not to be controlled by anyone else. And once people really get into the whole idea of understanding about spiritual and your soul and like the people who you're interacting with, you're here for a reason. You're there having these experiences for a reason. And, there's going to be so much more respect for the experience and what people go through and experience, and so many different kind of conversations when people are, understanding about what's going on more. So there's going to be, a lot of really beautiful changes in the dynamic of what it means to be alive, and so much more respect for it. Yeah, I mean, and it's Wednesday, and it's still like, still banks going, obviously. I saw like now in the UK and Canada and the US, we're all being openly censored. And so, they're going against our rights openly. And all this stuff. It's like it's all going to, go. It's all going to fall apart. I can't even believe we're already so much into July, and it hasn't even started. Like, maybe this isn't going to be the summer where everything breaks down and everything burns up. Maybe we're going to have to go through a whole fucking other winter. Like, fuck, man. God damn. I don't see how. Like, there's so many bad storms. Like, I don't see how we can go through another winter like that. And, I did see a video of they're preparing some of the freedom cities, and I'm not sure where they're going to be, but fucking Georgia is goddamn beautiful. I just saw a live walk, Savannah, Georgia. Fuck, that's pretty. I really like the South. I really want to get back down south, but the oh yeah, because they're putting up these things, these tower things. They look kind of like these tall poles, but they've got these things going out from them. So if you see them getting set up around you, those are the Tesla towers. That's going to be the free energy towers, because it is the current. What they do to harness electricity is dangerous. Like whatever they're doing isn't the right way. Tesla, just knowing like there's energy all around us, and it's to use the energy that's around us. And so they're putting up those things, which, another thing too about the ones that they had put up, which I just saw Trump saying something about 5G. And I don't know if he's trying to, get it on where we're all talking about it. He's saying, we're going to be in charge of it. Like, we want to be the leaders in it and stuff. And, it's dangerous. So I don't know what all's going on with that. There's so many things that they'll say. It's like he goes and says this stuff. Well, the great minds are scientists that we're trusting. They're telling us this. Like, isn't this safe? Isn't this what we're supposed to be doing? Like, it's more like that kind of thing. But I guess. But what really got me too is like, well, I'm going to go see the grandkids or whatever. Like just down from the one. Like, and you got to keep in mind, this is a migrant city. This is where migrants and farmers are. This is in South Central Washington State. And it is where there's a lot of farms and stuff, a lot of migrants, like a whole town. It's like going to Mexico kind of down there. And so if they've got all those towers and they're like a ridiculous amount, a condensed amount. And like when you start noticing, there is, go to areas like around schools where there's poor people. Every time they put so many more around people who don't have as much money. Like they're fucking out to just make everybody sick and die. Like, and they were just so obvious about it, just like obviously taking away our rights, and we can all just stand around whining and crying about it. Best thing is going to be is because We have this assistance from the universe, this energy. That's why, like, a lot of it, I know we can sit back and just experience, because it's an energetic shift. It's the energy shifting, and it is all of our attitudes. It's our attitude of, like, well, I don't want to be abused. Well, I don't want to be abused. Nobody wants to be abused. So it's us all being like, well, none of us want to be abused. That attitude is the shift. That is all a natural occurrence. And you can see, as the awakening keeps continuing, is how it's a natural occurrence. Like, you absolutely cannot wake somebody up, but they absolutely naturally occur exactly the way they're supposed to. It happens just like it happened for all of us. It happens for each person, and every person has their own time slot for the experience that they're here to complete or go through, grow through, whatever. It all is very defined in the timing, the timing slot of where each person awakens and what they awaken to. And so nobody's doing anything wrong. Nobody's, failing, especially, if they're not awake yet. The only thing I ever get is like, they're taking on a lot. They're going to take on a lot. That is going to be really hard. Those people who aren't awake are ones that are going to be going through a lot. They're taking on a lot of shit to go through. And I think, people will see, like, it may sound weird, like, well, we've been going through shit. Like, this is fucking hard. Like, we got to watch them poison everybody. We got to watch all that. Yeah, it's fucking hard. Like, what we've gone through. Yeah, it's very hard. And so that's not what they're going to go through. They're going to go through the other part. They're going to go through of, like, why didn't they see that this is ego pain, this ego death thing. There's going to be so many people who are going to go into this, serious ego, what does it all mean? What am I doing here? Who am I? What am I? Why am I alive? It's going to be this existential crisis, this total ego management that is going to go. So, fuck, man, I don't know. Every fucking week, I swear, I go into it thinking this could be the week. This could. And it could be so abrupt. Like, it literally could be at any moment. Anything could happen that can be completely abrupt. It will change everything. And so, even when a day starts out as just like another day and another day and another day, just like the other day, to keep in mind that any of those days can suddenly take a flip, can suddenly turn. Anything can happen. And I am fucking not even shitting you. There is a goddamn mothership up there. I can see that, like, I'm not talking about something small. I'm talking about something fucking huge. Huge, huge, huge. You can see, like, you can see the shadow. You can see, like, a sharp edge or something. Like, I don't know. Maybe it is, like, I've seen other people. Like, there's somebody, I think, in Arizona. She was driving through the desert, and she was showing these giant shadows on the ground. She's like, there's nothing up there. Where's the shadow coming from? There's giant motherships up there, which is really trippy. Like, that can be shadows on the ground, and there's, like, that was trippy. So, I can't see a shadow on the ground. I can see a giant shadow with sharp edges. I can see, like, something weird. And so, fuck, I don't know. Is it going to all of a sudden be all of these, ships, or the sky is going to open and these ships are going to start landing? I would think that that is not going to be the part that is the awakening part. I think that is the part, once we're more awakened, that's going to kind of go down. But maybe the ships are all there is to take a stand, to show us it's over. But to me, there's still going to be a big significant thing that's going to happen. With government or money is going to be the shocking thing that's going to really get people to wake up, and then things are going to start turning, and then we'll start having things like aliens and stuff like that. I think, because there's just I feel like there's another step that has to go through, another step in the awakening that has to happen. Like, because there's so many people awakening up, but they have not gone over that thing. Like yesterday when I was talking to my daughter, I was talking about this weird ass thing on my leg. And I don't remember what she was saying. She was saying something because she's, you know, I was talking more spiritual to me now. And I said, yeah, well, part of the awakening, though, is when you realize that you're really a hologram and you're in a simulation. And then you realize that you're not real and you're a hologram, then you have way more abilities to heal yourself. And so, like I was saying on my leg, how it is just like it's healing itself. It's like it's just going backwards or something. It's the weirdest thing. And I know, like, I could do it faster if I focused on it. That this is my mind needing to go at a certain pace because that's how I understand healing to occur. So it's like me holding myself back, if you get what I'm saying. But anyways, when I had told her that, she got really, really quiet. And she was like listening. She definitely wasn't arguing. And, you know, I could have been like a seed, you know, all of a sudden sprouted and she was processing. I don't know, because even when you say something, don't just automatically assume like, oh, they're gonna know. Wow, they got it right then. No, it could take them days or weeks or fucking months. Like wrapping your head around you're a hologram and this is a simulation and you're in a game. Like there's a lot. There's a lot to awaken to. There's a lot to wrap your head around. And, you know, to get yourself in the consciousness of, you know, you're an eternal being here having this experience. This experience at this time just so happens to be waking up to who and what you are, and you've been tricked for a long time. So it's, you know, there's a lot going on. And there's a lot of our that's been hidden from us, a lot of lies. So, but, you know, I think I like it better, personally, that we are a hologram in a simulation. I find that far more fascinating than being flesh and blood spinning around out in space somewhere. And, you know, just the challenges of healing, you know, and living without eating. Just all of the opportunities of figuring out what it is to be eternal. What is it to be alive? We're leveling up. We're going to the next stage, you know, and I think it's exciting. And Stella is like, well, it's gonna be good for you, but you know, it's not that easy. I'm not loving all of this. She's not loving all of it. But you know, the animals I believe are ascending too. Like I believe she's ascending. Like some of her stuff, God, she is such a character. She is something else, that girl. She cracks me up in all her attitude and stuff. And it's so funny too, is how we've been driving and people just, or we've been walking around and people pull up in their cars and you want to tell her how beautiful she is. And oh my gosh, she's so cool. They're going real slow so everybody can look at her. And she is like she's a little star of the neighborhood. She's unusual. She's different. And that is what people like. That's what people have got to start recognizing. Like when somebody's staring at you, it's a good thing. It's because you're different. You're somebody different. Everybody gets sick of looking at the same ass thing all the time. They see something that's different or unusual. And it's like your eyes are longing for it. There's a craving for something different. And so, you know, I think that is a big thing with really unusual looking people, and they feel, you know, sad because people are staring at them, and they take it as a more of a hurtful thing, or really it's more of a like loving thing, like, oh my gosh, I just can't take my eyes off of it. It's so unusual. I love, my eyes are just so enjoying this. My eyes are having orgasms all over the place of those staring at this thing, and or staring at a person or a place or whatever the case may be. You know, we crave to see something that, you know, it's a part of art. It's a part of when you're doing it, you know, of placing things. So the eyes travel, the eyes want to enjoy the visual, you know, there's a whole thing to it. So anyways, I think, you know, that is going to be, but everybody's going to turn into their most beautiful self anyways. So it's not going to be like we're going to have a bunch of strange looking people, everybody's going to turn real beautiful. Everybody's going to become, but they'll be like different looking. Everybody will be still representative of themselves. I don't think everybody's gonna like turn into looking the same, but I think it will become more obvious. Like if you think about like the Palladians all look alike, or the Anunnaki all look alike, or whatever. I think as people go into these alignments with this frequency with your tribe and whatnot, that you will find that aura or whatever. There will be a similar looking, like a tribe, like like a certain group of people, like they could all have like a similar body or something. I think there's going to be some things, when people get into more of their tribes, like you would see them and it would be like, oh yeah, they all belong together. They all look alike, kind of, so it's not going to be like where we're all going to, try and look like a template. Like everybody wants to look like Kim Kardashian. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be everybody's going to go into their best looks, but your DNA also holds a structure that is got some things that are similar to other people, and it's going to be based on like frequency and or aura or whatever. So anyways, we'll see, but I kind of feel like that's going to be kind of our thing from the more of the future, like but if you just think of it as different, like the Palladians all, have a similarity, or the Syrians or whatever, it's going to be more like that, if you get what I'm saying. But anyways, so I guess I better just get to it. Get to this day. And this day, I started getting the car ready yesterday. I started stressing Stella out. She knows as soon as I start getting the car ready, she's like, fuck, we're going somewhere again? Motherfucking shit. I know she hates it. She runs the other way when I try and get her in the car. But I'll still record tomorrow. And one of my daughter, the place where I'm going to be staying overnight, then she's going to be gone. So I'll be there with her dogs and mine. And so I should be able to record tomorrow. I mean, the day after. If I don't do it the one day, I will do it the next day. I may even try and do an extra video, so I have one to drop on one of the morning. But anyways, I think I should have some time there to record. But if I don't, that's why. Is just because, yeah, it's, I'm not like, I don't want to be rude to people. And, well, I've got to go do this and just ignore all of you, even though I never get to see you. And so, anyways, just try and be present in the moment, not caught up and, up my own ass or something. Like, well, this is the most important. Like, these people have to hear me every day. Like, I don't do that. So, anyways, but, I just got to get out of here, go do something. And plus, it just, I feel like we're just being so hammered with something over here right now, with the joint pain and this weird burping thing and the nausea. It is like, fuck. I'm just like, I gotta get out of here. And who knows, like, fuck, how long can this go on? This is so mental. If this goes past this summer and we go into another fucking winter, like, I can't imagine it. I think people are gonna start losing their minds. Like, and they're already destroying so many places. They've got such big storms going presently. Like, there's storms still happening. So, I don't know. I think something's going to happen with the money. We got so much going on with the people wanting Joe being arrested and stuff like that. Like, something's got to give. And it can be today. And it can be Friday. Like, it could be any moment of any day. That is, it's not like you need to live your whole life being on guard, but it feels like that when and it just keeps going on and on and on. It's like, fuck, let this happen. God damn. So to me, my challenge is to let go of it, to not constantly be thinking about it. When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And it's hard. It's hard to be prepared, be ready, and all this stuff. And the frustration of knowing, life's going to get so much better. It's going to get so much better when we have this change. It's going to be hard. Yeah, it's going to be hard on a lot of people because they're so trapped in their mind and in this fake reality. But it's going to be so much better in the long run. They're going to feel so much better once they heal and let go of that shit. And the world's going to become a better place. So, yeah, I'm fucking anxious for it. Don't want to go through another fucking horrendous winter. I don't even think I can fucking, oh, man. I just don't even want to put any expectation or anything. Just, I'm just getting, just keep focusing on, I know good is coming. Like, it's going to be good. And I can't get caught up listening to these other people. There's not going to be a solar flash. We're going into 7 years of this and all this kind of stuff. I see it as, we have this awakening happening. We are going towards this different age. It has a big difference of the 3D and the 5D self, and that is all up in here. And it's all of this transition leading us into that, and that we've got to go through these challenges and this awakening and all of this process to get to that. And that is what I see. And that we're in this cycle where there's going to be this cataclysmic event because it's going to change the water in the land mass, which is, it's completely fine. There's nothing that's, wrong with that. It's just like the earth rolling over. It's like all of the garbage and shit that we've put on her. She's just rolling over into the water and let it come off and putting up new land for us to have a new opportunity. And they already know where some of this land is going to be because they're putting up, these free Tesla tower things. They're getting cities and stuff set up. So I think there's going to be like a big draw, like after this big event thing that happens and the other person is shown to be in power in the military. I think they're going to start talking more openly about this cataclysm and safe places and stuff. And because it's not going to be, where the sun's going to blow up and blow up the planet. No, it's going to be an energetic thing, but all of this energy is impacting things. It's changing the world. It's changing the landscape. And so those changes are, the cataclysm. That's if everybody's in California and doesn't know that California is not going to be there anymore, then that's not good. So they got to tell them and start evacuating and moving people out of the areas. That's what I think is going to start going on. And they may not do it in a hysterical, like, oh my God, the earth is going to have this thing, and we believe the landscape is going to change, and California's going to go. I don't think they're going to do it like that. They'll keep doing it in these ways of like, oh, this is the worst governor in the whole wide world. You got to escape from this place. Get your kids and run, go to another state. And then the states that they'll make a big draw, like everybody was running to Florida. Well, all of a sudden, Florida just fell apart and everything started going wrong. There started being storms. So it's kind of like, hey, you guys, don't go over here to Florida. And they've got a lot of people going to Texas. Well, a lot of Texas is going to be there. So if you just pay attention to how they're hurting the people, how they're moving them around in kind of that programming kind of way. They use those still to influence us. So it is like a subliminal messaging. And so anyways, just pay attention, because that's what I think is going on. And that's what I see. And so I still think that some big's going to happen, and then there's going to be so much anger and frustration and people mad, and we're going to go through a lot of that. And then it's going to be, moving people and, seeing the good things. There's all this great stuff with our healthcare. There's going to be great stuff with our travel. There's going to be great stuff with our freedom, not needing visas and passports and all this bullshit. And, so there'll be positives that keep rolling out and rolling out that are make people better. There's going to be so much land given away, so much homes. So there's just going to be so much stuff that is going to be, if you want to just sit and whine and cry, then you're missing out on, going and getting yourself a piece of land and building a house. and having, you know, you can cry about what you lost, or you can move towards what you can have. So it's going to be choices. And that's why people are going through all of these things to awaken their, it's awakening their moral compass, and, having them look at priorities, to consider things that they didn't consider before, when they were just a rat trapped in a habitat that was enslaved and used for energy. So, anyways, I will get going. And, but I will, come back. Tomorrow I for sure should be able to come back and say something. If we still have video, I saw, or internet, is yesterday there was tornadoes and stuff going, I think, down by Tennessee. Um, and so any place can get power knocked out. When we were having all that wind the other day, I was like, fuck, this could be, they knock out our power and it never comes back until it comes back the quantum. Like, that can happen in some places. You go down and, so any of the things can be happening, however it's going to happen. Just keep in mind, we're going into this better thing. Don't let him bring you down. Don't let him tear you down. Don't let him have you hold on to what was there. None of that stuff. And don't fear what's to come. What's to come is going to be a blessing. It's going to be better. So don't fear it. The frustration of this long drug out getting there is that, 40 years of the desert crossing to get to our bliss or whatever. And, in that time, you're going to lose some weight. You're going to lose some friends. You're going to, figure out what you're made of. So that's what we're all going through. So anyways, I will talk to you later. So just stay strong, and don't let yourself get beat down by this stuff as it drags on and people are acting nutty. And if there is people waking up in your family and you're feeling left out because you want to be a part of it, just, just apologize. Just blow shit off. Let things go. Don't hold grudges. And don't expect other people are holding grudges. And if they do show that they're holding one, then just, call it out. Say, well, we could come together and enjoy this time, or we could just sit and hold grudges and call each other names. What do you think would be the best thing? And if they say they want to call each other names, then just know they're not there. It's not like, why cause yourself frustration by trying to mend fences if they're not there yet. But if there is people and you're feeling left out, just go with that energy. Go towards it. Go towards what you want. Don't be held back by stupid shit you've said and stupid shit you've done. You can always apologize. There's always redemption. There's always doing something good. Just show your attitude is different. And everybody's attitudes are going to be shifting. They're going to be seeing things that they weren't expecting to see. So just, and be humble. Call yourself out. Don't just call other people out. Call yourself out. Humble yourself and be true, be real, be authentic. And then who can deny you then? So anyways, we'll talk to you later. Bye.